Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back to another video. This is actually probably gonna be some unfortunate news. Now this is kind of a rumor right now, but this is probably gonna be some unfortunate news for a lot of Bluey fans out there. I'm gonna be talking about Bluey in this video. I'm also gonna be talking about the whole course correction thing and all that. I actually wasn't gonna make a video on that, but I was like, you know what? I kind of want to do a video on that. I do. I want to make a video on that because I actually have more things to add, Because I did talk about that in another video I need to upload. But because, we have November and December, those are very crazy times of year, especially when you get colds like me. I had a cold for like a few days. It wasn't as bad as the other thing I had. It wasn't bronchitis. I can't remember what it was called. It was something else, but I couldn't speak at all. With the cold, I could. But I don't want to be making videos because my nose is constantly running and all that, and I had to get some tissues and all that. So, yeah, it kind of screwed up my videos. Luckily, I don't have a lot planned. I didn't have a lot planned for this month, just in case, because of what happened in October. But I do want to do a Christmas review and all that, too, and all that, so, yeah, I have that plan, But I'm not going to be talking about that stuff right now. I'm going to be talking about Bluey and the whole, woke stuff going on in Hollywood because, there's some stuff that's been changing. Especially with Disney and all that, too. And I kind of want to talk about that. So if you guys haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell. I'm trying to get to 1K subs. We're getting to 500 subs, but once we get to 1K subs, I have a super big reward video for you guys. We might have one on the way there, some videos on the way there. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of, I do have a big video plan for that, And then, I've been working on the video, because it's going to be a big video, and I want to make sure I have it all ready up, and I'll explain what I'm talking about when we get there, but you'll have to see when we get there, because I'm not going to tell you guys. But you guys can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter, because YouTube's been having some problems. I actually uploaded a Christmas video showing off the lights. YouTube copyright claimed that. They freaking copyright claimed that, because our copyright system is so damn broken, I freaking cannot stand it. I don't know where I'm gonna upload it, but I will find a place to upload it down the road. But it's I think what happened was I played a song, because I was showing off a tree that was in the music, but I was talking over the song and all that, and I'm there are so many versions of it, I don't really get it, but... And there are people on YouTube that freaking upload crap all the time that are shorts and all for shows, so I don't get it. It's just stupid, but I'll explain more about that later. I thought about making my own video talking about that too. I might still, but I don't know. But yeah, it got copyright claimed, so yeah, there goes one of my Christmas videos I had planned. But I do have it. I did post it on Instagram and all that. I don't think I posted it on Twitter, because I have not figured out how to do that yet. But yeah, I got it posted there. So, but anywho, let's go ahead and get into this. So, let's talk about before we talk about the big video thing here. We're gonna talk about the other part. The whole thing, because I was actually going to be talking about this anyway for the last week. I've been just busy. But first, let's talk about the whole woke thing, Now, I don't really use the word woke a bunch, but I do use it sometimes, because, what I classify, some people even, have commented on, you don't even know what woke was, and I thought about, calling them out. I'm like, do you know what woke is? Because there's people in comments that can be smart asses sometimes about that stuff, and they just say it, but I was like, I'll probably look it up anyway, and then post down the road acting like they're a genius. What I consider woke I mean, well, the whole thing with woke is kind of, the message kind of has changed throughout the years and all that, like, but I consider it, like, more so they're pushing freaking messages and all that. They don't need to be in their shows and all that. And, a lot of Hollywood, not just Disney, a lot of them have done this. Disney and Warner Brothers were bad at this. Disney is freaking awful. But we had Paramount, like, they race swapped April and all that to freaking push a stupid message around them. I don't think it was. I watched the show, and they didn't really push it as bad, but they did race swap her for some stupid reason. So she doesn't even look like April anymore, because she's supposed to have she's supposed to have the red hair and all. She's a red haired and all that, and a white girl, and then they swapped her and all that. They did that stuff, and then we had Ghostbusters 2016 and all that with Sony and all that, But Disney and Warner Brothers were really bad at this shit. They were really bad. I mean, even Netflix kind of got into it too, but not as bad. Disney and Warner Brothers were really bad at this. We had the whole thing with fucking Velma. Velma, they had, like, this whole, thing and all that. And then we have, like, Warner Brothers and all that with the whole, like, like, I was watching a video on all that, like, I think was it a reaction or something on a show. There's a show called Steven Universe that had this whole thing where, like, this creator had, like, I think they were threatening her and all that to, like, threatening her and all that to, like, with the whole gay marriage thing and all that, like, on one of their episodes and all that, and she kind of just went with it and all that, and it created some drama and all that. And then we have, the whole Teen Titans Go thing. Now Teen Titans Go, I'll say, it's not as, like, it's not really, like, they don't race swap any characters, but they push some of these messages to kids and all that, like, you have this whole boys versus girls thing, they have that on there, and I'm like, it doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl, you're doesn't mean you're better at something. I mean, with sports, I guess you can be, but, like, in general, I'm like, it doesn't mean you're better and all that. They were pushing that shit and all that, and the whole, even the whole Christmas episode of the Naughty Nice List, which I did a review on that. They did that crap too. So Warner Brothers has done that stuff too. Not as bad. Disney, on the other, Disney has done horrible shit with their stuff. They've had people in the studio, like, I think it's Rachel Zegler, I believe, is playing Snow White. She's fucking shitting on people and all that because, they voted for Trump and all that, and then they have, Bob Iger and all that pushing messages and all that too, with the whole, because, even before, COVID and all that, he was pushing messages and all that with Star Wars and all that. Now Star Wars is still kind of its own thing, because Kathleen Kennedy's and all that's in there, but still, Disney owns Star Wars, aka Lucasfilm, but it's pretty much Star Wars at this point, I mean, they've had that Indiana Jones film, but again, it's kind of one of those things, like I said, it's just like they push this shit and all that way too far. I mean, even in their fucking parks, like, their parks, like, they'll say, like, apparently you can't say man or woman anymore, girls or boys and all that, and it just makes things, very confusing and all that. Like, I mean, I'm gonna say I'm gender fluid as it is. Sometimes, yeah, I depending on my day or something, I do have, problems with that, but even then, I wouldn't force somebody to call me a certain race or something, not race, like gender or something, because, I want people to respect me. I wouldn't do that. But there are people out there that do this stuff, and it creates a big problem, and that's where we're running into. But, so, Disney now, it looks like they're starting to course correct things a bit. They had the whole Inside Out 2 trailer, they had that. They had the whole Inside Out 2 trailer, and then they had, not trailer, I mean movie in general. Basically there's talk that they rewrit the scripts and all that, and then, the movie did very well and all that, because they didn't put that stuff in there and all that. But now they're like, saying like they're not gonna have. I think they're I don't know if it's gays and lesbians yet, but they're gonna have like they're not gonna have trans at all because they're removing that stuff and all from their content. And I'm very split on this. I'm like, well, on one hand, in my opinion, one hand we have, they have to change characters or force something in there that doesn't need to be in there, the whole Star Wars thing where they changed, they changed Princess Leia to General Leia and all. They pushed that shit in there, and then they did the same thing with, Rey. They made her very broken and overpowered, and it just felt like it was put in there out of nowhere and all that, and it created some messy, sloppy storytelling, which, yes, technically Rey's a new character and all that, but my thing is, though, is I don't think they should get rid of it completely, because I'm like, some of these shows are still really good, but I don't think every show needs to have a gay person in there, or a gay character, or they don't even need to have they don't need to have gay couples in there. They don't need to have trans and all that. We don't need all that stuff, I feel like having different stuff is kind of, nice, and all that, to make the shows feel more unique. It's like the whole princess thing. Not every Disney show needs a princess in it, And, if they have the same kind of characters, and then it just gets old after a while. But my thing is some of these shows, like I said, they change up they rewrite the stories or something, or they forcefully put it in there, the whole Ghostbusters 2016 thing, they made a bunch of gender swapped lookalikes of the original Ghostbusters, and that pissed a lot of people off, because it just felt forced in there and all that, and not its own thing, and I'm just like, again, I totally agree with the whole, they need to tone it down, but I don't think they need to get rid of it completely. And that's the problem. That's the whole thing. I think I was talking about that with the Bob Chapek thing, how their studios are still blaming, well, not studios, people are still blaming, I think even the company's still freaking blaming, Chapek for all the shit and all that. And they're making Iger look like the hero, and some people are believing it and all that. Iger is not a fucking hero. Iger did this shit before, COVID came, and all that. Well, when COVID came, that's when he left the company and all that, which I still feel like he left the company, he knew, I feel like he knew that COVID was happening, because it felt like Chapek, what came out of nowhere, they out of nowhere, he was talking about a replacement for him and all that, it just felt like it was out of nowhere, and the pandemic was starting to spread. Now, this was in February, and I think he may have already announced it before that, but I believe COVID, the whole thing started spreading in 2019, I believe in November, and all that, so it feels like, I'm not saying, I shouldn't say, 100% sure that Iger did this, but I have a feeling Iger knew it was getting bad and ran away, and all that, because making it look like he was retiring and all that, so that way, that way, we have the new CEO and all that, and then he takes the fall for everything that's happened, and I don't think Chapek was not a great CEO either, but calling him the worst CEO of Disney is, I can't say, because he's only been there for a couple years. Even then, I don't even think I'd say even a couple years. Because I think Iger left, at the end of 2020, I think he left, he left the company in general. I believe, I guess Chapek took control, I think, in March or April, and then not even the entire year of 2022 is over, he, came back, so it was a year, almost 2 years, but not even 2 years. So there's so saying again that he's the worst CEO, I'm I don't really get that, because I'm again, he was only there for so long, So I even told that in the comments. Like people commented on like other, videos. And like I've even some people come out and say that he's the worst CEO, not Iger, but Chapek, and I'm gonna stand by and say you can't say that because again he was only there for a couple years, and I'm like you can't say that, and and even though Iger was doing this shit before Chapek even became the CEO during the pandemic. So yeah, the whole thing, feels very forced, but now it's like they're course correcting. So I have a feeling some people are gonna think it's Iger who is fixing this, but Iger was doing this shit before Chapek even became the CEO. He was doing this shit. He was pushing it. He was getting very political. I mean, I think he was always kind of a shitty CEO. Like, he made a lot of dumb decisions, but he got kind of really political in the 2010s. But he made some stupid decisions, like they rebranded Playhouse Disney to Disney Junior, which pissed a lot of people, including myself, off. Which, I mean, was a minor change, but he also got rid of Walt's name in the company, So yeah, got rid of Walt's name in the company, and then, we had the whole, like, because that's just called Disney and all that, so they shortened the name down and all that, kind of getting rid of his name. Even if you buy DVDs, you can't even find Walt's name anymore. Now, they've already kind of done this stuff before, like Pixar. I believe Toy Story is the only one that says Walt Disney Pictures / Pixar, I think is what it says. If you buy some older DVDs, the new ones will not say that, but the original ones will. Maybe the VHSs might, I don't know, but they were kind of phasing his name out a little bit, but they never like went heavy on it. Now they're like they were phasing his name out and all that, and it felt disrespectful to the original person. And yeah, again, Walt Disney has been dead, but the company wouldn't be here if it weren't for him. I know some people probably had some problems with him, but still, I mean, that's why Disney is Disney right now. The problem is, it doesn't feel like Disney anymore. It feels like a whole nother company because they keep acquiring shit and all that. We've had Fox, Bob Iger, and other people have acquired shit, and all that. Like, I mean, not just Bob Iger. I mean, we've had even Michael Eisner when they acquired, like, the Muppets and all that. And it just feels like I mean, it's okay for a company to acquire some stuff, but when you keep acquiring more and more stuff, then you gotta focus on those IPs and not your own, and it causes there not to be as much originality, I mean, you have different people working on different divisions, but that's the problem there. But the whole thing with the woke thing, the woke thing, like them getting rid of woke is only going to do so much. They still have a lot of problems. The company is still in huge debt. They're still in huge debt. And they're in huge debt. The parks are fucking horribly expensive. I mean, I'm curious if Bob Iger will start raising or lowering the prices to make him, again, look like the good guy. Even though, like, I mean, with the parks and all, I mean, with movies and all that, it's a different story, because some of them already came out, but that's kind of why I'm like, maybe this year was doing well, because these movies were already in production. Because I've heard stories, like I said, with Inside Out 2, that they were forced to fix it and all that, but I'm like, I feel like they may have already been working on that. Because, the way the story sounds is Inside Out 2, like they were gonna actually have Riley have a different like love, like have I think they were gonna make it was gonna be, I think they were gonna make her trans or bi or something, I can't remember, but I'm like, if they were gonna rewrite the story, they would have to rewrite it and then put the scenes. Otherwise, it would have looked like a big slob. It would have looked very forced in there and all that. So I think they probably already were rewriting it when Iger came back, and then the movie did well because it took a few years to fix it and all that. Because even Chapek was saying the same thing Iger was saying about cutting back the woke stuff. But like I said, Chapek wasn't there very long, so we don't know, And again, there were already movies coming out that year. That's why, again, Lightyear was already out, during that time, which was Pixar's worst, film, and they did not do well at all, where Inside Out 2 is one of Pixar's best. But that's what I'm saying. You can't really say you can't blame Chapek, because again, it's hard to say, but I know Deadpool and Wolverine, I know that movie was in production since 2020, because I think it was originally going to be a Deadpool 3, but then they rewrote the scripts and all that, but that one would have taken forever to make, because unlike animation, they had to, have actual actors coming and play, And they had to, had the script out and all, so that one was already in production when Chapek was still in there. So, like I said, it's very hard to say, But I will say this, this is where I'm going to stop talking about that, because I definitely don't think they need to completely remove the stuff. Yeah, I don't think kids need to be taught these messages all the damn time, but I'm I have gay uncles. I mean, when I was little, I asked the question, and again, your parents don't have to answer it, but I'm again, it's just who cares, just this, it's just, they just want to make good storytelling. The problem is when they force the shit in here constantly, that's the problem. Like Lightyear, I'm sure that pissed a lot of people off. Yeah, I'm going to talk about the other thing in a second, but I did want to mention, Lightyear, that movie bombed really badly, and yeah, I think that a lot of people were saying lesbians, lesbian, thing with one of the main characters was, what didn't cause the movie to bomb and all that. I think it was part of it, not because it was, people, or there'll be people out there that didn't want to go see it because of that, but what made this movie, do so bad is other countries. See, they put it in there to throw it in there at the last minute. So it felt like the whole movie was, they put it all in there at the last minute, and so everything kind of, so it felt forced in there, and I'm sure that pissed a lot of, gay marriages and, gay couples in general. It pissed them off because, they just put it in there, and it felt like a big F you to, people like that, just so they could air it in fucking other countries. And I will say, yeah, I think Chapek had his problems. But I can't say he's the worst CEO, but the fact he put that movie in the theaters and not the other Pixar movies, I will say I don't think Bob Iger would have done that. Now, Bob Iger probably would have, could have, merged the studios together, because, we had that other studio, I think that was Touchstone Pictures, that one got shut down under Iger, so did, they had their own gaming company, they shut that down too, all that, so I have a feeling he probably would have done that. I think if Inside Out 2 did not do well, I think they probably would have shut it down, but because it made them money, I think they kept it back. But like I said, it's not just about that stuff, it's about telling good stories. And that's the problem. These companies, not just Disney, a lot of these studios don't, they care more about making money and less telling stories. And yeah, you need to make money to keep, stuff going and make merchandise, but you don't need to be pushing this shit, in your parks and all that, just to fucking make some damn money, And that's the problem. But speaking of making money, now we're going to talk about, because I know I was talking about the other thing for a while, but that was mainly what I was going to be making anyway. The other thing I want to talk about is Bluey itself. Now, this is probably going to be bad news for a lot of people, but again, this is not fully confirmed yet, but I think Disney is going to acquire full rights to Bluey, it sounds like. Right now, they've already acquired the rights to make a Bluey movie in 2027, which, that could be pretty cool. But the problem is, though, is we know what Disney has done with a lot of popular franchises. Look at Star Wars. Fucking Star Wars, they fucking ran that brand to the ground. Star Wars is like dead. They are dead. Marvel is not like dead, but it is also not as well as it once was. And again, that's not just because of, them pushing, shit in their films, like messages and all that, but that's just because, again, a lot of the movies weren't good either, or they cost a lot of money to make. And, the thing is, though, is a lot of that stuff, like, what they're wanting to do is they're wanting to replace, like, writers and all that with AI. And, I think voice actors, too, I think they're going to start doing it. Well, Hollywood in general wants to do that stuff. The problem is with that kind of stuff, is humans are going to be, humans won't be, well, a lot of them will be out of a job, because the technology will be doing the work. But also, a lot of these stories are not going to do very good because of that. See, I write stories, because in the future, I want to make my own cartoon stuff. And I don't want to produce them under Hollywood, but, because again, all this shit going on, not just with them, but, like, we had Nickelodeon with SpongeBob. Steven Hillenburg had problems with them, with, like, making SpongeBob, like, they had to do boating school episodes and all that, because of, that and all that. It was a mess, and other shows, too, and it just, but, like, I want to actually have control of my actual work. And that's the problem with AI. If you have AI write your stories, then you can't have the creativity. You can't have fun making your own stuff. That's the whole point of making stories, is to have fun with the creativity. If you have fucking a robot do it, you can't have fun with it, So it feels like we're kind of going through, like, WALL-E and other, stuff, like, where like, robots are taking over the world and all that. Like, remember WALL-E, how, like, we humans were, like, got fat and lazy and just, like, I'm not saying that's exactly how it'll go, but, had to learn a message and all that, like, that, that technology can't make everything they do fun, it can't make, it's like being on a screen, like, even if you're virtual, if you're doing virtual stuff, it's not going to be the same thing as actually going to do it. Even if they make it more realistic, like, it's only going to do so much unless you're actually doing it, and that's the problem. It's actually getting to that. We're getting to where everything's going to be on screens and all that, and not everybody's going to do it like WALL-E, but the whole point of WALL-E was to teach that message, that technology cannot replace everything, It can replace a lot of stuff, but it won't make everything fun, and that's the problem with making AI write your damn stories. It won't work. Now, there are certain things, AI, is helpful with. I've heard some YouTubers because they can't speak very well, they have AI do it, But again, it's also, like, I feel bad for them, but again, it's like, having me have an AI do my videos for me, I might be better off just having an actual person do it, like myself, And that's the problem. But that's the problem. They're making cuts and all that, and a lot of their films, I think it's going to end up making everything look cheaper and all that, and Disney's haven't had a problem with this in general, like, and yeah, that's one of the things that they blamed Chapek for, was he spent too much money on a lot of the shit, and yes, he did, but some of these movies were already in production before he, came along, and even before that, they spent a lot of shit, on money, and like I said, Iger had that whole Fox thing, which I still think was a fucking stupid idea. He acquired Fox, but got hardly anything out of it. And all that, and a lot of these movies they're losing licensings too, so a lot of these movies are going to other studios. And all that, and you can say maybe, like, Blue Sky was shut down under Chapek, and it kind of was. Chapek was in charge there, but I think Iger would have probably done something like that too. Maybe not that quickly, but Iger is too obsessive over himself and making money. So he keeps acquiring shit and all that, and that's what's happening with Bluey. I think Bluey will probably end up getting bought by Disney, and there's already rumors that they're going to buy it. I don't know if it's actually 100% true. But the problem is, though, is you know how bad they have run other shit into the ground. Even Hulu, they fucking acquired Hulu, and you saw how bad Hulu is now. Hulu is fucking awful. And somehow it said Hulu's still getting more subscribers, which I think is phony. I think somebody needs, like, one of these tech companies, or somebody needs, like, in general, needs to, like, fucking hack the, like, or, well, not even hack, because you gotta be careful, because you can get yourself in trouble, but, like, I feel like they need to bust some of these studios, because they're hiding their own numbers. I mean, it shouldn't be that big of a deal, but I'm like, just to show you kind of they're not profitable, because a lot of them, like I said, Netflix in the past, there is no way they have a bunch of subscribers, and Disney stock has been going down. It's now at 111, I believe. That's where it's at. But there's still no way, with all the problems they have and all, there's no fucking way that they're not as up as they think they are. They're still pretty far down. And the same thing with, like, Hulu and all that, because the numbers keep going up, but people are having more and more problems with them, and they're not fixing the problems. So I'm like, there's no freaking way that Hulu's got, they're not going up to like 50 something million subscribers. They were at like 40, I think, the last couple months, but now they're going up more. And I don't think that makes sense, because a lot of people are taking their content off of Hulu and going to other platforms. So, yeah. So I think they're not profitable like they think they are. That's why they're so desperate to get people to go to their channels, because they're starting to, their streaming platforms, because they're taking down their platforms and all that. Because actually other studios, which I may make a video on that, are actually taking off their stuff on their own platforms. So, that definitely tells you that streaming's not going as good as they want. And I think even going back to Netflix, I still don't think it's gonna go back to like people want it, or it's cheap. Because the studios are not making profit on the stuff. They need to make profit on the stuff too. And if this stuff's too cheap, they can't make profit. So, yeah, I have a feeling that things are gonna get pretty bad here. But, yeah, I think Bluey's probably going to end up getting bought by Disney, too. I think they're going to buy it. They're going to buy the rights and all that, and it's still owned by another company, but I've heard people talking about them buying it, and I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they have Iger, and Iger wants to fucking buy everything, because Iger has no idea what the hell he's doing. He'll take credit for shit he hasn't done, and then he'll, like, blame other people for his misfortunes and all that, and I mean, yeah, they're cutting back the woke stuff and all that, which, I mean, that's a good thing for him, that's something they're doing under him. But again, I'm like, that's only gonna do so much. And they're still wanting to replace humans and all that with technology. Like I said, that's not gonna work either. And they still have a lot of debt to pay off, because they bought out Fox, barely made any IP off of it. They're trying to make an Ice Age 6, because they need to make money off of it. And I feel like an Ice Age 6, I mean, the movie could do good, depending on what they do, because that's part of 20th Century Fox, but I don't know how well it's gonna do. But, without the original studio, I don't know, again, like, how well the movie will do, because, I mean, Buck Wild, that movie flopped bad, but that one was already announced. Even Rio 3 was announced before that, too, but it got pushed back a bit, too, when Iger came back. But, like I said, the fact that they have a record of doing this and all that, and they have a huge amount of debt to pay off, it's freaking crazy. And yeah, they even acquired Hulu. They spent like $8-something billion on it, which is not a good thing, because the company itself, I mean, it has debt. And right now they're kind of hiding it, but because considering they have not been making a lot of profit on a lot of stuff, except a few movies this year, but like I said in the past, they've had movies that have done well. I mean, Avatar 2 did well. I still think it didn't do as well as they say it did, but, that movie, did make, well, they said it made a lot of money, but still, I'm like, they still were in debt, and there's no proof that, or evidence that proves that they actually got their debt back and got down, because that's why they're so desperate. That's why they're raising prices, because again, if they weren't so desperate, they wouldn't be raising their prices like they are. They're desperate. That's why the parks are getting so fucking expensive now. That's why the streaming is going up. And I'm just like, it's not worth it, And then I feel like them acquiring Bluey, you think would be a good idea, because Bluey is a very popular, show. Which, by the way, I actually do want to eventually buy the show on DVD. But the problem is, like I said before, it's only gonna... I feel like because the creator of the show left. He left. So he left the show and all that. So and that's usually a bad sign. When a creator leaves their show, usually that's a bad sign. Sometimes it can be good. I mean, look at the Fairly Odd Parents, the new show. That was well received. I forgot what it was called. I think it's the Fairly Odd Parents: A New Wish, I think is what it's called. That one fixed a lot of problems that the original creator had. I don't think he's even involved in it. But that's because the creator himself, Butch Hartman, had a lot of problems and all with people and all that, and he screwed some stuff up, But that's the thing, though. The fact that Bluey was already very good, I mean, they might be able to keep it going, but I have a feeling it might end up like SpongeBob, where it's going to start off very good and it's going to go bad. Because people are even making comparisons to that, like how Nickelodeon kind of ran the brand to the ground, and they did. They ran it to the ground. But even that, I think it's still making profit for them, and people are still buying the products. With Bluey, I don't know, Bluey could end up being like Star Wars. It could just become a dead brand, and that's what I'm afraid they're going to do. But I don't know. Like I said, it could be good too and all that, but I don't know. I think it's probably going to end up becoming I think it's probably going to get drugged to the ground and all that, like their other IPs they own. I mean, even fucking the Muppets. Remember, they acquired the damn Muppets, and they hardly have done shit with them. They've hardly done anything with it. The last movie they made with the Muppets was that back 14 years ago, which was like 10 years ago. They do have, I think, some shows that are coming out, but like, they barely advertise them or talk about them anymore. They barely, do anything with the Muppets. The Muppets are basically just a dead brand. And it was another popular brand back in the day, but because they don't care about it and don't fucking advertise it, it's not doing very good, And that's the problem. That's what I'm afraid they're going to do with Bluey. And I think Bluey's probably going to get acquired by Disney, and I'm sure it's going to piss people off. I mean, they're very good at doing it. They're very good at buying shit up and running it into the ground and pissing people off. That's the problem. And I would say if this were on other channels, they probably would milk it too. It probably wouldn't be the same. But my problem is, I think they're going to go a little too far with it, and it's going to run it into the ground. But, I don't know. But I do know right now they also have episodes that are not, that are not on the platform. I don't know if they brought them back or not, because they actually eventually brought back the Golden Girls episode. I don't know if it's still on there or not, but they brought it back. But Paramount also brought back their SpongeBob episode with the, the panty and all that, called Midlife Crustaceans, but then they took it down afterwards, so I don't know. I don't know if it's actually back or not, because I haven't really watched the Golden Girls, so I don't know. I know they're popular, but I never got around to watching it. Including this show. I want to watch this show and do a review on it, but I'm probably going to see if I can get it on DVD, because this show came out a few years ago, so I might be able to find the episodes on DVD, for some, that are banned on streaming. The problem is, though, I have a feeling, there could be more stuff that can get banned and all that, or it could, with them, with them cutting down on the political messages and woke crap, they might not do it as bad. But I don't know. I mean, I think they're just doing it too because Donald Trump got elected and all that, and they're trying to like they're trying to not bother with that. But I have a feeling that they're gonna get busted. I think that there might be some huge problems. I think Disney next year, I think they're gonna have a huge problem with some stuff. So yeah, I don't know. But I mean the thing is too. My thing is too with Bluey and all that. If they didn't do very good, I feel like if they could just sell it off. But the problem is they're not gonna sell it off. I mean, like I said, the Muppets, they don't know what they're doing with the Muppets. They're not gonna sell it off because they don't want anybody else to fucking have the shit. They'd rather just keep it under their umbrella and fucking milk it and all that, and until it's nothing, and then just won't let people make their own shit out of it. Like, I'm sure, like, they could sell it, like, just sell it fucking to Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers can take the damn Muppets. Even though they're also, like I said, they're canceling movies left and right, too. At least, we can have all the Sesame Street episodes back that have Kermit the Frog in it, because I heard a lot of those got canned. But, yeah, I don't know. I have a feeling, things are not going to look very good next year for them. I mean, I even talked about how their movies, they did well this year, but I think next year and the year after, they're not going to be doing very good. I mean, 2026, they do have a lot of sequels that might make them money, but I don't think they're going to make a lot of money. Next year, they don't have a lot of movies in general that look like they're going to do well. I mean, especially the Snow White movie, that one's going to be bomb. Again, they could cancel that movie, too, if they know it's going to bomb. That's the thing with I'm again not wanting to give Chapek a pass here, but I mean with him, I don't think they knew that. I don't think they thought the movie was actually going to bomb. The people now that are in charge of Disney, with Iger and all that, they fucking know the movie's gonna bomb, and they're still gonna push it out. They're still gonna fucking push it out. I mean, they can literally just cancel it, just throw it in the ground. Fucking throw it in the ground and get a shovel and fucking bury it, I'm like, I think they know it's gonna bomb. With Lightyear, Chapek, I know, and, the other people at that time probably didn't know the movie was gonna do very badly, but not saying still, I mean, putting that movie in the theaters and not the other Pixar movies was a big, FU to the Pixar people and other people who watch the movies. But I'm just saying, though, but yeah, I still I think even back then I said I preferred having him in charge instead of Iger, because Iger, he's acquiring Chapek I think Chapek was at least letting the fucking company just die. Just fucking, Iger's letting it drag out very long and all that, and although I wouldn't really want the Disney company to die, I kind of want it to be saved. At this point, I don't have any faith for it to be saved at the moment. It's going to take a lot more than replacing Iger to bring it back. I think they're going to have a whole other company come in and buy it out, which could end up happening. They could end up selling the company. But again, with Iger in there, Iger's not going to... what Iger does, Iger just buys shit up, and instead of selling it, if he doesn't know what to do with it, he'll fucking just shutter it. And, Disney in general will shutter it, but Iger will mainly be the one shuttering a lot of stuff too, like they did Blue Sky, which, by the way, like I said, that was under Chapek's watch, but they've done this shit before. Like I said, with Touchstone Pictures and all, they shuttered it, because they didn't know what the hell to do with it, and, they acquired Fox and all that, which it was a huge, big mistake, and, I think Disney's not going to get their money back. I think they're going to keep blowing their money, and something is going to have to be done. But the problem is, right now, nothing's gonna happen because, again, they're trying to hide their numbers or fudge them a bit, where it makes it look like they're profitable. And you notice how, since the earnings call is done, you notice how the stock is going back down again. That's what they do every time there's a stock. An earnings call, their stock goes up. And then their stock goes back down. And although it's still, in the hundreds, I still don't think it's as high as it is, because there's still a lot of problems. And, especially with the movies coming out right now, I think it's going to go back under. But, I don't know. I don't know what to say here, but if I were you guys right now, I probably would be like with Bluey, I would definitely be probably getting things repaired and all that in case they do decide to to shutter it, because I have a feeling it's gonna get shuttered. But I think that's probably about really all I have to say too about this. This video is definitely long, but that's what happens too when you put like two videos together. It happens like that. But I'm actually doing this. I don't know if you ever could tell, but I was doing this in the car because I'm behind on videos and all that, and I'm probably gonna get some stuff done around the house this weekend, so I'm not gonna have time to upload and doing I don't have my own place. I actually do want to get my own place in the future because I'm kind of sick of dealing with some of this chaos. But right now I kind of have no place to do that, because getting your own place involves getting a job, and I'm working on getting a job. I just haven't had time to get one yet. But I'm going to go ahead and end up letting things go from here. So see you guys later. Bye-bye.